Hello! I couldn't believe it. I had to sneeze just as it was going to live. What fun. Hello, everybody. I had to restart my computer. I kept trying to get to the live stream. Nothing would happen. So I said, okay, I'll restart this computer. So let me show you something really quickly. Let me just do something real fast. I want to show y'all how to make just a muslin painted face tonight. And I tried to get a piece of heavy interfacing for it, but this one is not fusible. So what I'm doing is I'm just running a little basting stitch around the edge to keep the interfacing. Because if you're going to paint on fabric, it's good to either have it interface, that's the best thing with the fusible, or have it pinned to a board so that it's on nice and good. Okay, I've got just one last side left. But it is easier to paint these faces if they're on flat fabric. So that's what I'm going to do first tonight. But I just wanted to make sure I got that done. I was trying to do it before I came on, but as usual, the computer was acting up. Now, it's not that the computer was being acted upon. It wasn't my fault. So let me see who is here. Hello. Let's see. Okay. Man, look at all these wonderful people. Marcia, Mary. Oh, I love this. And I love how you're chatting away. Yay. Laura, hi, sweetie. Oh, you dear heart. Debbie's here. Hi, hon. Oh, it's so good to see you. Barbara Smith, hello, sweetie. Kathy Klein is here. So wonderful to see all of you. We've missed you too, Miss Barbara. We sure have. So it is great to see all of you. Cheryl Hogan, yay. Francis Adcock. I remember you. I remember that name. Hello, Francis from Louisiana. I think Francis is happy that Ian didn't come her way this time because I tell you what a mess that was. Michelle the quilter is here. This is like old home night. I'm loving this. Hello. Okay, so let me bring the camera down. I've got a lot to show you, a lot of faces. Yes, no one needs a hurricane. So we drove around after the little bit that we got after it came inland. And I said, I can't imagine what it was like down in Florida because there were so many trees down and limbs down and all that here. I said, imagine our winds only got up to 45. So imagine what those poor people are going through. So we're thinking of them, sending them good thoughts because what a mess. So let's see here. Okay. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to have to draw it upside down because I'm going to draw it a little bigger than I need it. You know how that goes. Okay. So you basically draw an egg shape, okay? This is the easiest way to do a doll head. Now, you notice I have one of my new white erasers on my pencil. I buy white erasers so that I can draw on fabric or anything else, erase it. And it's not always just for pencils. Let's say any kind of little smudge happens and you'd like to get it off. If you use, let me show you. This is a good tip. If you use a red eraser, okay, even when you rub it off, there's a pink spot. right there. And goodness gracious, one time I had a blue eraser. It was the worst of all. I can't find it. I was looking to see if I had it. But white erasers are the key. So you can get them at any place that sells school supplies. Okay, so now you've got this basic face, okay? And what I'm probably going to do, and then I'll put, it's going to have a neck like this, okay? And I'll show it to you right side up. There you go. What I'm probably going to do is do a 3-piece head, because I've tried to do 2 pieces on a head, and it's hard not to get them so flat. So what I probably do is cut out 3 of these and see how that works. Now, the next thing I am here to tell you is lightly mark a line right down the center. Now, let's say I don't know if I can draw a line right down the center. Just put those sides together like this and put a crease in it. Then when you open it, there is the line down the center. Although I like where my line is. Hold on. I don't know what's making me sneeze. Sorry about that. Okay. I'm still, because I did the chin slightly off center and I like it, I'm going to leave my center line right where it was and ignore my press line. Then I'm going to want a line pretty much halfway, because people forget that your eyes, nose, and mouth are in the bottom half of your head. Isn't that odd? We somehow think, the eyes are supposed to be at the top. And when I was making my polymer clay heads, I kept putting them up too high, even though I would make a mark for halfway down. So what I'm going to do here is draw in the eyebrows like this, then draw a nice almond round shaped eye. Okay, and having these lines really helps. Okay. It keeps you, and you know what, if you want, you can even draw another line top and bottom of the eye. Okay, then you're going to come in here and do a slight bridge like this, then do the nose, and remember the nostrils usually come halfway to each eye, where the pupil starts in each eye. So you put the little sides of the nose, and then you can do just a simple line like that. You've already got the bridge started, so you're implying that line. And you can even do a little like nostril hole, right like that. Then come in here, leave a little bit, a slight space down here for this, the 2 little lines right above your lips, and then do the line for your lips. And I like adding that little V in the middle, and then come in with the bottom lips. And since this is going to be a doll, I want to make a perfect mouth. And if you have an indentation here, usually you have a slight V right there. And here you go. And the bottom lip is usually a little larger unless you've had plastic surgery, and we won't get into that. And then we put a little line right here to kind of denote the chin, okay? So let me turn that around. So there you have a face. Okay, yeah, Michelle the quilter. I love, you know what? Are we lucky to have our Marcia? She's so friendly to everyone. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to bring this over here. Let me bring my camera up. Whoop. Let me turn that off. I don't know what it was trying to do. But I'm going to move over here now. Let me turn my iron off. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to bring a paint palette because you will do a lot of mixing of paints. Okay. Now, here are all of my different dolls. This is going to be, the color is a lot brighter down here than in the living room where I was painting them the last time at night. But these, here is my gypsy woman and my gypsy old man. And then here, I'm calling her Barbara, as in Barbara Streisand. And there's Barbara. And then here was that freakish looking alien being, but she looks better with makeup on, don't we all? And here is the small one with makeup on. So, and the two polymer clay ones I made with Kato poly clay, but you can also use Sculpey Flesh Beige. And then I have my hands that I made, that I painted all of these because they had little scorch marks from being baked. And I even put fingernails on them. So, and these were my, I broke off one of my fingers. I'm going to make some new ones. But these I might leave for the little gypsy man, because these were my first hands that I did, and they were very crude. Oh, thank you. Well, I can draw them, but making them out of polymer clay, I need a little more work. So I ordered some a 1 pound block of flesh tone polymer clay so that I can keep trying until I get them the way I'm happy, because, you know, so far I haven't been the happiest with them. Okay, I'm going to grab my paints over here, and what I'm going to do now is just show you about painting a face. And remember, when you draw a face on fabric, you have an eraser for a reason. I make very good use of an eraser all the time. So I'm putting, whoops, y'all can't see what I'm doing. Sorry about that. I'm putting 2 tones of brown in the little thing. And then for the iris of the eye, honestly, I like using a Sharpie. It puts it right where I want. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you. Once I got the eyes done and the mouth done on here, you see the eyes? I used some triple thick. And I put triple thick in on the eyes and on the mouth, because putting that shine on the eyes makes it look so much more real. And in fact, I even put some of the triple thick on Barbara. See how it gives that shine? So, okay. And in just a moment, I'll go back over all the different doll heads and how I made them. So now I've got this cute little face here. My job is not to mess her up. So I need, in my paint tray, I need some white paint for the whites of the eyes. Come on. Oh, good. Good job. Okay, then I'm going to need a little touch of pink whoops, let me see. This pink is better. Let me get just a little bit of pink here. I'm trying to remember the colors I've already used last night. Okay, so I've got brown, I've got white, I've got pink. Let's start, a lipstick color. This might be nice for her. So now that's a darker lipstick type pink. So let me grab a little brush. I've got my paper towels, and let's go for it. First thing I'm going to do is start with the eyes, because the eyes, you have to come in first and put white in here like this. Then this has to dry before you put, actually I said iris when I meant pupil. The iris is going to be brown in this doll, and the pupil is going to be black with the Sharpie. I apologize for getting that word wrong. Sometimes when I watch these later, I hear how many times I'll use the wrong term. And it's like, sorry, thinking on the fly gets harder and harder the older you get. So I'm just going to fill all this in with white. I'm going to try to keep this simple and easy. And I was hoping tonight to be working already on the costumes, but I'm sorry, I have been so busy. I went in for dental cleaning. I've been doing my fall cleaning on the house. And boy, my back is sore. This exercising stuff is tough. I pulled my back out while exercising. So, okay, and I've just got my little cup of water and my brushes. So, while the eyes are drying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you real quick. I got some highlight flesh chair. I don't know what that means, but it's the acrylic paint, Americana brand. Whoops, I'm going to put some of that right here. Okay, and I'm probably going to need a lot more than that. But let's come in here. And it's so easy to do the acrylic paint. And I just wanted to come in and show you how to paint this. And then I'm going to make the other sides of the head. Once this is completely dry, I'll make the other sides of the head, and then I will sew them together and then stuff them. But if you're worried about doing soft sculpting, if you're worried about doing polymer clay heads, then this will probably be something you'd want to try. Now, just to tell you, when I probably next Thursday, I'm going to try to do a live polymer clay head to show you the steps that I took to make it. I did my first one on my own because I was learning. And so I wanted to try all that out before I showed you. So anyway, I don't want to paint over my lines because I think I did pretty good on this head. So I'm going to be very careful and just kind of work around the lines. And I'm not going to do the whole face. You know, what do they say? It's like watching paint dry. Yeah, we don't want to do that. All right. So here we go. Now, and you can make your doll's head any size you want. This is probably too big for you, but I wanted you to be able to see exactly what I was doing. Okay, so I'm going to stop with that there. The eyes are still drying, so I'm going to move on to the mouth. So, and if you have any question, oh, good, Debbie, your comment was, oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, just to help you kind of figure it out. Yeah, super. Thank you, sweetie. All right, so I'm going to get this brush. It's nice and narrow. I'm going to come in here and grab some of this lipstick color. I'm going to mix it a little bit. And come in here and just cover the whole lips. And I'll show you why. But cover the whole mouth part. Now, you don't have to have lipstick on your doll. In that case, just take the flesh color and add a little bit of pinkish red to it, just so, because our natural lips are slightly different colored than our skin. And even on this doll, I'm going to take the acrylic sealer, that triple thick that I love, and when this is completely dry and when it's all made into a doll head, I'm going to do the eyes and I'm going to do the mouth with triple thick. And just to give it that little gloss will be a nice look. But we're so lucky. Acrylic paints can do so much. So now you might look at that and think, well, but what? You've lost the shape of the mouth. What I'm going to come in with now is a darker burgundy. Put a little bit of that over here and come in with a very fine brush. Get a tiny line. You can wait until the paint is dry, or you can hope your hands will be nice and steady. Here we go. All right, now I need to come back. I'm seeing that this top line of the lips is not so good, so I cleaned off my brush, and I'm going to come back in here. There. Okay. Now, another thing, so I'm going to bring the camera down a little lower so you can see what I just did. Look how it gives instant definition. Another thing you can do is come in maybe with this lighter pink and just, whoops, let me get a little bit more, and just put a few, well, let me mix it with white. I'm not getting the color I want. So I'm going to take a little of this pink and the white and just make a few little, they're not really showing up, but a few little lines on the lips. Let me try this again. You just want to use a very light form of the pink and make very carefully a few little lines on the lips just to give them a little definition, and then take that same lighty pink and put a little light spot on the lips where the light is hitting them. Just a little there, just to make them look more realistic. Okay, it's a little heavy there, so I'm just going to carefully go back in with my finger and wipe the excess off. So there we go. Now, I also like to come in and have a few little touches of lines to show, to give some definition to the face. So that's where I can come in with a light brown or tannish brown and do the outlining like that. And then I will take that same and come up here, and I'm going to mix it with just a little flesh. I don't want it too shockingly brown. Come up here and make the bridge lines of the nose. Okay. There. So just a little bit of that. Then, while I'm here, let me come in with the flesh tone, fill the rest of that in so it makes sense. Okay. I was afraid to get too close to some of this. Now, when it comes to doing, let me see if this will work. Okay. When it comes to doing like the eyebrows, then you can kind of come in with a permanent pen marker and just carefully do some lines and kind of leave the eyebrows looking, you know, not perfectly smooth, just slightly like they've taken an eyebrow brush, because that's what these young women do, especially if this, you know, depending on what your doll's going to be, if she's going to be a dancer or something like that, or performer. And then I'm going to come in with some of this bronzy brown, and I'm also going to put, whoops, well, I probably covered up. At least I've got my little wispy edges. I'll put the eyebrow on. I'll come back when it's dry and do some more marker. Okay. So as you see, this is really not that hard to do. And if, let's say, no, you're still too nervous to the thought of drawing a face like this, then get a face on your computer, find something, and make a photo of it, print it out, and then copy it the best you can. Now see, that eyebrow was a little off. I didn't quite make a match, but you know what? That's okay too. Our faces aren't perfect. I'm going to come make this one just a little bit longer so they'll match better. All right, now I'm going to also come back in with this marker, and I'm going to draw, whoops, maybe not with this one. Let me see. Oh, this marker doesn't like the paint. Let me try to find another narrow. Let me try this pack of them. This is not a Sharpie, but I think it'll, I think it will do what I want. But just come in, try not to get it into the white paint, because the white paint will stop it from flowing. Okay. All right. Now don't worry, I got a little tiny weird dot right there. Don't worry, because when I'm sure that paint is dry, we got one more step to do. Now, I always thought it would be fun if you had any old false eyelashes laying around. It might be fun to see if you can put them on your doll. But what I am going to, let me see, it's getting there. What I'm going to do is just draw the eyelashes on the doll, like this. I'm drawing them a little dark, so if they're too dark, I might need to get a fine line. Yeah. Okay, so what you do when that happens and you're going, oh, that's a little too bold, then just take a thick brush of paint, put it on, and you might have to do two coats. The paint is making the eyelashes run. The lesion is gone. Oh, Jody, wonderful. What's bad news? Oh, hon. Oh, hon. Okay. So what I'll do is let that dry, then I'll come in and put a little bit more on. And I think I need to do the eyelashes, make sure it's a permanent pen. The way this ran, this is not permanent. So I'll have to put a couple little layers. But what I can also do is come back into my bronze and do a little like eyeshadow. Okay. I'm glad the lesion is gone. I'm curious now about the bad news. All right. So then I'll come back in here, trying to let this dry. I'm so impatient. Want to fill in with some flesh color right back here. All right. Then don't forget, take flesh color, put it here, and get a little touch of the brown, mix that in, and then you can come in and kind of shade a little bit, because the area on either side of the nose often is a little darker. Let me try this again. A little darker because it's in shadow. There we go. Yeah. All right, and then come back with a little touch of bronze to go bring back the eyeshadow look. All right, so I'm going to let that dry, but keep working on it. Now we've got the mouth. You know what I need? I need to get some paint on the nose so we can see how the outlining of that works. Well, that's a terrible brush. Let me get a better brush. That was way too narrow. Okay, so I'm going to come in here and put this paint right where the nose is going to be, but still leaving the little drawn marks so that I can put shadows there. Because everywhere you put a drawn mark, you know that that's the shadow that delineates the shape. Okay, so there we go. Come on up here. Okay. Let me get this. There is a name for the little crease above your top lip, but I don't have any memory of it at this point. But I know there's a name for that little thing. Okay. Now, if you want to make these look pretty sharp and good, because you're not doing a real face. We're not doing a real face. This is a doll's face. So you kind of want your features, everything to be a little bit over the top, okay? Oh, and I need to put a little paint down here because I'll show you why in just a moment. All right. Come on and dry paint. All right. And then the neck. So, you know, you'll finish it all out like this. Okay. Oops. Forgot to put my silicone mat or my freezer paper down. All right. Get right up to the lips, even if you have to use a small. All right. I think our eyes are pretty dry. So now I'm going, well, you know, I'm using so many browns. I'm going to come in here with a blue eye. Let's do something different. Okay. Bad news is there's something else in its place. Oh, no. Okay, so they're, well, you know what? I'm glad that they're going to go in and take that out and see what that is. Good job, honey. Good. Cupid's bow. That's neat. I didn't even know that was the name. All right. Let us know when you're going to have the surgery, because we're still here, that's for sure. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to fill in the iris like this, carefully filling this in. And what I would do, this is rather bright, so I may go dip a little white in here and mix it right on the spot. You don't want them too dark, and I'll show you why in just a moment. And if you notice, these eyes are rather large because this is a doll. And so, like I said, you probably are going to want everything a little exaggerated. Okay. So let me come in and do this side. Keep talking, Miss Jody, because we really care. We want to know, sweetheart. And I'm glad they're just taking it very carefully, seriously. Okay. Now we're going to want to put some lines in the eye. That eye didn't go as well as my other, but you know what? I can come in here with some white and I can fix the shape better like this. Editing is great no matter what you do. Okay. All right. Now, what I want to show you, I guess I should wait for it to dry. I'll be right back. Let me go grab a little bit more paint. Surgery is October 21st. Okay. And I'm hoping it's just a cyst or something. You know, I'm hoping they can get it right out. All right. So now we want to give some definition to the eyes, and I will show you how to do that. All right, now I'm doing all of this with paint because I'm trying to do it very fast, but you don't have to. You could put the basic paint on, let it dry, and then come in with fabric markers. Permanent fabric markers. They are so much easier. The reason I haven't used fabric markers up to this point is I think it would be a little tricky. You could use your ink tints, but I wanted to make sure to be able to cover this fast, and I think it would be a little tricky. Whoops, hold on. I haven't used this paint in years, and it was separating. All right. Let's see. Well, there it comes. Okay. So I'm going to come in here and grab a little of this, try to get my brush to flatten out, try to get a sharp edge. What I'm going to show you is come in and put little fine lines to kind of give, because if you've ever looked at your eye very close, it's not a solid color. It's little fine lines. Now that one line, I think it's too strong. Oh, good. You can just come back and take it off. I was going to say you can wipe off your brush and take it off. Now it's usually easier to bring your lines into the middle, because then you'll come back with your black and you will put your iris in. Okay? So there we've got that. Now, if she's at all human, she's got a tiny, fine little vein here or there. So and a little bit of a pink area there. And then we'll come in, wipe the brush off, and pull that paint back off. I might even just put this down on it. Okay. And then you can come back in with some white, and you can make it a little more subdued. Now, if I had time, I would pre-mix every paint I need, but I don't have that kind of time right now. So I'm doing this on the fly. But now, I'm hoping, Doc says optimistic that's not cancer since it wasn't highlighted by the MRI. But the precancer doesn't highlight, so he can't be 100% sure. All right, sweetheart. Yes. So we've got a couple weeks, and then we will get good news from Miss Jody so she can get back to doing what she does best, which is creating and loving people, being so sweet. So that is wonderful. Whoops, okay. So you just want to, yeah, these lines are too long, too large. If I need to take time to either get something with the tiniest bristle, Okay. So you do that. I'm going to get a little bit of a darker blue to put in some of the background too, because the first eye had a little more variation. Let me see. There we go. Well, Jody, I'm really happy to hear that the lesion is gone. That is wonderful. That is fantastic. And now we just have to finish up cleaning house. That's what they're going to be doing. Oh, good question. Yeah, how will they handle that? Okay, so now I've got that pupil and that eye. All right. And what I'm going to do when the eye is fully dry, I'm going to take a very fine, let me show you this set. Here are Sharpies in all different colors. And look how fine the tip is. I mean, it is tiny, tiny, tiny. That is what I'm going to use to outline this eye. But I can't do it until the paint is fully dry. Now, you want to get that little, I'm letting it dry just a little. And then to give that eye some realism, you're going to load up just a little dot of paint and come in here and place the light shining on the eye. So if it's on this side here, it'll go on this side over here. Let me load the brush a little bit again. Okay, there we go. So now, lumpectomy. That's wonderful. Oh, yay. Jody, oh my gosh, you are my hero, sweetheart. You truly are. You are my hero. I have decided that I'm going to come in here and add a slight bit of pink to the bronze to do this eyeshadow. I'm too many browns right up there. So let's come in here. We're going to put in the eyeshadow. Oh, that's such good news, Miss Jody. Oh my gosh, hon. And we're still here until we know that you are on the mend and all of this awful stuff is behind you. We're still here, sweetheart. If it's cancer, it'll be a chemo pill for 6 months. Okay, is that already the pill that you've taken some of, that you made yourself into a guinea pig for? Bless your heart. Oh, honey. In fact, I saw a commercial about that pill that you were taking, and it talked about now they're using it for all different kinds. They're looking at it for different kinds of cancer. So you've really done a service in the middle of all of your fear. All right, so you see where I'm getting this eye now? Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Mary. We are all here for Miss Jody. Y'all were here for me, and I know it made all the difference. I was so scared. There's nothing prepares you for hearing, you've got cancer. Nothing prepares you. And now Miss Jody is letting us all know that it can be overcome. It can be fought. Oh, I'm so proud of her. Because I tell you what, it's been a tough battle. She'll tell you. She has really hung in there. All right. So now while this is drying to go to the next, oh, you know what I need to do? I want to show you a little definition under that nose. Right now it makes her nose look a little too wide. So I'm going to come in here. You know what? I'm going to put this brush up a moment and get something. Hold on. All right. Let me even, whoops. Should have rinsed that brush better. Okay. Let me come get some of this flesh again. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is come in here very lightly with a brown marker. And just outline the nose. Now let me see if I can come in with a bit of a flesh tone and knock that down just a touch. If I can't, then yeah, that's making it darker. So now what I'll do, if any tone is too dark, go back to your flesh color and then come in and just kind of lightly paint over it. Especially if it has a little water on the brush, so it's a little bit, see there? Okay. And then while you've got a little bit of that tannish, then come in with some little facial features like this to give her features some depth. Little crease lines right here. And this is a watered down. I had a nice wet brush. Okay. Little line, barely little under here. Then I'm going to come in here, get some more of that flesh tone, add just a touch of the pink, and give her a little blushed look. Look, can't do it much over here, but you know what I would do. Okay. Whoops, where did I get that black from? All right. So I think I can add just a touch more of that blush. Oh, I know what I'm accidentally bumping into the iris. Okay. I was like, what have I done? Okay. So just get a piece, get some of that flesh tone. Whoops. Do it in a couple little stages. You probably can't do it all at once. Then I want to come in here with a little touch of white, touch up that black boo-boo, and break up the vein in her eye just a touch. Okay? Oh, y'all are so sweet. Gosh, y'all make me feel good. I wish I had done more with my art all along, but you know what? I love this group. It gives me a chance to keep doing this, to keep making it happen. So let me put a little bit more blush up here. And feel free to use your finger in there and rub it and make it look like, what you want it to look like. I need to get another touch. Let me rinse off my brush. My biggest mistake is being impatient and doing stuff before it's ready. So, all right. So, let me see. I'm probably not going to do, I'll put just a little bit of flesh tone up here. Whoops. Be careful, Deb. And if paint gets where you don't want it, that's what your fingernail's for. Or the wooden end of the brush handle. Whoops. The thing I hated, I really, really hated working with oil paint because it took so long to dry. And then when I started working with acrylics, oh boy, I knew I had found my medium because acrylics dry so fast. And if you make a mistake, you just let it dry and paint right over that mistake. So I much prefer acrylics over oils. Okay, now what I'm going to, oops, I don't want it, so there we go. All right, what I want to show you is, okay, that's this eye. All right, I was looking at both the eyes trying to figure it out. What I wanted to show you next, I think this eye is dry enough. So I'm going to come in here with an ultra fine Sharpie. Oh, it's not dry enough. Oh, poo. Poo. Well, let me see if I have the skinniest brush possible. You know what? Oh, yes. Look at this one. It's really cheap. And so it's got hardly any bristles. Just what I needed. So what you do is come load the brush and then you rub off each side. So you've got the thinnest little brush possible. And then you come in here. And you paint some eyelashes. And if you don't want them to be too stark of black, then feel free to mix a little touch of brown in there with them. Whoops, that was too thick. Let me load the brush and then rub off all the sides to try to get that as thin as you can. And I'm supposed to be doing this eye. Almost forgot to rub it off again. That'll get me in trouble. So then I can also show you too, with just barely any black paint, just do a very tiny outline like that to make that eye pop. See, just do a very, very thin outline. Okay. All right. So I'm going to come and carefully with that thin, light hand, do these eyelashes. And the amount of makeup and definition that you put on your doll is going to be dependent on what kind of doll she is. If she's a dancer, then you want a lot of stage makeup. And down here, you have to be really careful. And you're barely going to do more than just Make a fine line. You don't want too much down here. Okay, just enough to, oh yeah, she's got a few eyelashes down there. Oops. And just take your fingernail. If you get a part that's a little too thick, just scrape it off. So what I'm trying to do is just show you not to be afraid of any of these kind of things. It's a little bit of a learning process, and I feel like that's too dark for her lower lid. So I'm just going to come in and once you kind of dry it up with that piece of tissue, then turn it to a different piece. Because if you put the same one down, it could leave some of that you're trying to get up. It could leave it, put it back down again where you don't want it. And then right here, where it's a little too heavy, then I just go get some of the flesh tone and come back and thin it back. So it's constantly doing a little bit and going, assessing it, coming back, and possibly undoing it if it's just too much. All right. So now I just might, hold on. Her nose is still looking too wide. So what I'm going to do is see if, yeah, I'm just going to make this cute little up here. I fill in, make it narrower, and then barely make a little nostril. And then when I get more of the flesh color, I can bring the nose down just a touch sharper to make it look less wide. So I'm hoping this gives you some ideas. Now, if you wanted this woman to be one of the gypsy people, then you could come in and carefully take and put wrinkles and big creases. In fact, I'm just looking at that crease. That crease is by her mouth. It's a little too dark. So I'm just going to come in here with some more flesh tone. And there we go. And do the same to her nose. Okay? So you see how you can just add years or take years away by where you put creases and what you leave. All right. I'm hoping that this is making a little sense for you. Oh, thank you, Miss Jody. So then I would just take and either do one of this but bigger so it's got some, especially here, or I would cut 3 of this shape and see if I can try to put them together. So, oh, Cheryl, that is so true. That is so true. All right, and then with this doll, just like with my poor little, let me see. Her cheeks are a little too red, so hold on just a second here. I want to show you the other doll faces and what I did to try to make them better, or maybe not. Okay, these cheeks are just too orangey red, so I'm going to come in here with some mixed flesh tone and a little touch of brown just so she's not too light. Come in here and touch this up. So let me so hopefully I've shown you how you can make a doll face, and then you just have to cut out enough, like 3 pieces so that you can make a round enough head. And then the nice thing about this kind of doll shape, or doll being out of the muslin, it's very easy to sew the hair on there. So, okay, I'm going to move this. Let me move my paints. move this and bring over this. All right. So this is going to be, that color on the cheeks is still rather bright. Let me put a little touch more. I wanted her to have the look that she's been out in the weather, but I don't want her to look like she's been burned. So, okay. Now, I have noticed that with a cloth head, it really works better to use markers for them. In fact, let me now tone this down just a little. Okay. I've noticed that markers really work out better. And in fact, let me see if I can do her pupil with this marker. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot better. And you see how I did. Well, you know what? I need to put another little dot of white. Hold on. The dot on this pupil kind of disappeared. Let me try one more time. But don't forget what I said too. Even on cloth or on the polymer clay, use the triple thick, whatever kind of acrylic sealer you have. And in fact, I'll show you right now. Well, I need to work on her eyes a little more. Let me see. This one, let me see if I can get a fine, whoop, no, that's going to be too big. I want to outline her little eye right here. Outline this little eye where the green ran past the eyelid. Draw the eyelid back in. Okay, there we go. So now, one thing I would like to have in her eye is a little more, what really makes these dolls look so good is having the little lines in the irises. It just really makes the eye look more real. So let me quickly put this on. Okay, so now I got the little striations in the eyes. And I'm going to, 1 second. Okay, I just noticed a little bit of the white, so the eyes are kind of messed up here. So let me get this. Once you put the triple thick, it's hard to correct. So you have to make sure you're ready to go. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little triple thick in this cap. And then I'm going to come in here, and I'm not going to paint as much as just kind of drop it in like that. Okay, and it will find its own level. Okay, you see how it looks a little cloudy until it dries. But this is what's really going to make the eye look real, come to life. Okay, and then if you want, take a little and put across the lips to just reinforce the lipstick. Now, once this dries, it will be clear, but you see already, see how it makes the eye look shiny? So, once it dries, it's going to be wonderful. And you can do the same thing to these little dolls. I did right here with this one. I put the triple thick on her eyes too. And I love that shiny look it gives. Okay. All right, so I was just going to quickly talk to you. I did little crease lines with some color, put it on, and rubbed it off, and it leaves the little creases. Oh, that's neat. Oh, yeah, I love doll eyes. So you just want to, you see how by rubbing a thin little bit of brown, you're able to get it to stick in the creases. This doll was an experiment using an ace bandage. Don't do it. It doesn't work good. I mean, look at this. It's really rugged looking. So then I said, okay, she's going to be my gypsy doll. And then this was a try at using pantyhose and doing soft sculpture. And, well, that's going to be the gypsy man. He's not looking so good. Oh, thank you, sweetie. I tell you what, it's so funny. I call this my Flintstone hand. Then I tried this hand. Okay, it got a little bit better. And then, finally, I got these. I made these, and they were much better. So, I'm going to keep working on it. And then this one was really scary at first. Now, Mark still thinks it's scary, but I think once she has a lot of hair and stuff, I think that'll be better. But this one is a wee bit scary. I think I need to tone down some of this makeup. And to tone that down, leave your brush a little bit wet. Go grab some of the flesh, and that way it'll be real watery. And then come in here and just lightly brush it on, and it will tone it down. In fact, even up here when it dries, it's going to be a lot less intense. So anything, if you have a problem, you need to fix it, just keep picking up that paintbrush. Also, I did notice that around the nose was just a little too dark, was kind of an odd color. So I'm just going to come in with a thin layer of flesh and put it back on. See what happens. Okay, because you can always just keep going back and forth until you get it the way you like it. Okay. All right. Oh, the one thing I meant to show you. That is, how do you color the legs? And the best thing I found to color the body, like if you want the hands and arms to be flesh tone, how do you do that? Well, the best thing I found, you can mix up a thin layer of a color, or you can come in here with your ink tints, and if you have ink tints, you can come in here with your ink tints and just do a light coloring on, the cloth. Then I'm going to come back, because that was a light brown. Actually, it's called mustard. Then I'm going to come back with a light of a muted pinky color, like this. But obviously, this is pretty easy, right? Now watch what happens. Get my paintbrush with water. Let me make sure it doesn't, oh, okay. Get my paintbrush with water. Wet it, and then you will see the color is not showing on the camera. Hold on a second. I'll come back over it, put a little, oh, now you're seeing the color. And then I'll come back with some of this pinky. Oh boy, does that show. Then I'll come back with that paintbrush. Just water, because you want it to run, be nice and even, light. And there you go. And before you know it, you will have a flesh color, because here is the original, and there's your flesh color. Let it dry. Boom, you're done. Oh, that's cute, Mary. That is cute. Okay, so I'm enjoying this so much. Now, this leg I thought was a little too pink, but you know, but I wanted to tell you, I was thinking, oh, we'll just use 2 Thursdays for this. Honestly, I'm loving this doll making, loving it. And especially when I can find the versions that I am best suited, easiest for me to make. And that's the good thing about making all of these different kinds, is because I can then, you can watch what it took for me to make it, and you can decide which one or more than one you want to try. So what I've got left to do, it's like, see the wire? I've got to hook these up to the bodies. I've got to hook the wires. I used what's called armature wire. Don't worry, it's nothing strange. It's just wire that bends really easy, and it's easy to stick down in the body parts. And here's the arm I just did. Then look, isn't that cool? So you can get any kind of wire you want, or look for armature wire. It's not expensive. It bends very easily, and just be careful. Don't sew over it. But that's why I did, if I have to connect them to, I'm going to do it by hand. But now I have to take all these doll body parts. I've got to take all of these. I've got to paint this body the flesh color. Then I've got to put the head on it. And then I've got another little body for the man, and that's going to be his head. So, and believe it or not, this is the body I was planning for this head. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. But, because that's a heavy head, let me tell you. So, and here's my dancer's body. I'm very excited. So that will be for her. That'll be her body. So I'm very excited. I still don't have a body made for Barbara, but I will be getting a body made for Barbara. And then the last thing I will do to the dolls, once they're all put together, and they're all, they've painted whatever color I'm going to paint, flesh tone or whatever, then I'm going to take and put the hair on. And don't forget, if you are actually making these dolls with me, I will be very happy to mail you some of the wool roving I've got in different colors, which I think would make really pretty hair. For my gypsy woman, I'm going to sew on some of this wonderful yarn, and probably for the gypsy man too. So that is what I have. I hope you won't mind, but next week, let's see if I've got the bodies put together. I can give you hints and tricks on that, because like each leg has its own wire inside. How do I connect them to the body when I put them on? I'm still working through that, okay? But how am I going to attach the hands? In some hands, I put a hole in the bottom, and in my best hands, I put a hole in the side. I think this is the better idea. So make a groove around so you can just really tighten it down with some heavy thread. But I will be working when I show up next time, I should have the dolls put together, and then we're going to start on costumes. And that is where I'm so excited. I used to do costumes for a living, so I can't wait. In fact, let me see. I think I put a few things in my pocket, but start looking. Like these tiny beads might make a good necklace, or beads on the outfit. Look at this. This was an earring that I never wore. Would that be exciting on one of these dolls for part of the costume? So just start looking. I'm going to be using velvets and lamaze and satins and lace and who knows? And we are going to have fun. We're going to use beading and charms, and we're just going to, the sky is the limit with these dolls. And so anyway, I just wanted to let you know for our next project, I saw something that I thought you might love. And this is going to be, so it won't be for at least a couple weeks, but just so you can start looking, I thought, let's find a fabric that's nice and busy. And what we're going to do, like a fabric that has kaleidoscopes or something, a lot on it. What we're going to do is we're going to take that fabric and we're going to stitch over it, embellish it with different kinds of threads, maybe metallics, maybe holographic, and we're going to bead it. Okay? So what would help you is if you have some kind of inexpensive ring, a fabric that has a really exciting design. I'll show you one and in just 1 second. And then start looking for your flosses, your metallic threads, your beads, whatever you have handy. Check and see. And then we're going to embellish a fabric. And the reason I thought about this, it'll give us a little break between these really exciting high intensity projects and with these long winter evenings, because fall evenings, I won't rush this yet, the fall evenings, it would be nice to sit down while you're watching TV and work on a comfortable, easy, I don't have to think about it project. Okay? All right, guys, so let me show you a real quick picture, and then I'm going to tell you good night. I know I've run on a little long, but I've been so excited about these dolls. I couldn't wait to show you and talk to you about them. I have really fallen in love with this project. So, whoops, sorry about that. Isn't that interesting how that works? All right. So now let me go to pictures. And I have two different things. Miss Melanie sent me some pictures today. But let's look for art doll. Oh, not art doll inspiration. Let me see. Maybe it was in here. And what kind of fabric? Here we go. Look at this fabric. That, it just gives you an idea, okay? And then look at this one. Whoops. Now, Paula Nadelstern has some amazing fabrics out there. So, just, whoops, not that. Okay. But any kind of nice, busy, exciting fabric that you think you could work with, embellish. It could be just anything that you would just love to be able to relax, take your time, and work on. So now, as we get ready to say goodnight, I thought you needed a moment of zen. And who better to give us a moment of zen than Miss Melanie and her sweetie pie Willow. And she wished she could have sent me a movie of her. Look at her in her little car seat. Is that the cutest? So Melanie and her husband, are loving every moment with this little girl. She is just what they needed. She loves to go bye-bye. She loves anything that they want to do with her. And she also has a little bit of spirit to her, so that's good. In fact, Melanie said that she wanted to move this big dog bed, and she was frustrated because that's not exactly where she wanted it. But when you're just a tiny little girl, what can you do? So there is your moments of zen with Miss Wonderful Willow. So isn't that wonderful? Enjoy that. All right, and you know what? We got to enjoy that puppy without having to clean up any accidents. So, all right, everybody. Sorry I ran long, but as you can tell, I'm really enjoying this doll project. So, oh, it's in the 90s in Texas? Ooh, no. No, in fact, it's supposed to get a little chilly. There's supposed to be a cold front coming down from the north. So take good care. You make my evening. You make my week. Thank you. Because of you, I stay more creative, more active. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. And Jody, thank you for that good news. We're not even going to worry about the other. You don't worry about it until you have to. Otherwise, you're wasting perfectly good energy for maybe nothing. So we're happy. We're tickled. I've got something I keep forgetting to mail to you. So hang in there. We're so happy for you, Jody. And we're almost there. You can see the finish line now. Thank you for my ladies for coming back, like Michelle the quilter, and oh gosh, oh, seeing Cheryl is always a joy. And what was the other name? Hold on. My brain is like a sieve, but Laura, it's always great seeing Laura. All of you, you're just wonderful, wonderful. Polly, love my Polly. I need to sew with her soon. Barbara Smith, how wonderful it is to see you. And I don't want to forget anybody. So if I ever forget to say your name, Mitty's here. Wow, I missed that. I love Mitty. She's another dear soul. And who was, there it is, Francis Adcock. How wonderful to see you back. So thank you, everybody. You are wonderful, and you make my life, you're the cherry on top of my ice cream sundae. All right, take good care, and I will see you the next Thursday. All right, bye-bye, everybody. Way to go, Miss Jody. Yay. Bye-bye, everybody.